Prologue, Cassandra. The rope smelled like honey. Not cheap, overly processed honey, lifeless and left with no aromatics. This was a special smell I imagined apiarists lived for. Pungent. It made you feel like you were walking through a meadow in springtime, soothing and warm. The sensation was a sharp contrast to what I felt minutes earlier. The pounding of my heart, threatening to rip from my body at any moment, and the rapid succession of my breaths. Somehow, I managed to stay conscious.
Yes. Breathe, little papillon.
Little butterfly. I heard his voice in my ear, a coarse, gravelly whisper with hints of an accent. If we were alone in a dark alley, I might have thought he was there to kill me. But there was something comforting about his disembodied tone. It felt like he was reaching out in a dream to guide me someplace safe. The idea was slightly amusing, given the fact that he had tightened a rope against my skin. My arms were bound behind my back so firmly, it was as if they no longer existed on my body. Lengths of twisted red jute stretched around my chest, my flesh completely exposed, aside from the blue cotton undergarments I wore. It felt smooth yet firm against me. I had no understanding of what was being done. I only experienced the sensations of being bound by him. The gentle yanks when the rope was knotted, the drag of it across my bare skin. After a while, the pressure around me became almost comforting. I sank into it, my breaths deep and slow. Time suspended while he worked. I found myself so transfixed that it seemed as if I'd gone to some ethereal place, far from the room we were in. There were times I'd forgotten there was an audience in front of us, the sounds of the audience fading. It was only him and me, sharing an experience I'd never imagined having.
And fini.
This time, his whisper bloomed, extending across the room. My mind came back into focus, noticing all of the eyes watching me. It was difficult to remain focused on anything other than the sensation of the ropes against my skin. While the lower half of my body remained free, my upper body was stationary. The only thing I could do was surrender. I had no choice, which made being watched the least of my concerns. Instead, it was the idea of my mercilessness. One of the most deliriously submissive feelings I'd ever felt in my life.
How does it feel, little papillon?
I felt the warmth of his voice against the flesh of my ear, and it sent a small shiver down my spine. I feel alive.